Welcome into this week's Co-Lin Coaches Show. It's all about soccer again, and joining me today is our head women's and men's soccer coach, Tom Cosgrave. Tom, thanks for joining us.
Morning. Thank you very much for having me.
And Tom, obviously, we've got 3 sets of matches to talk about. Originally, it was supposed to be 2. Then we had one canceled, had to add one in. So we're going to talk about all 3. And we're going to start back on this past Friday. You go on the road. You go up to the St. Louis, Missouri area, and you face off against St. Charles Community College. That's a ranked matchup on the girls' side, both of you being in the top 15. St. Charles comes out on the better end of that one. I believe that was a 3-1 win for them. But you do get on the board there, and just talk about how the girls played.
Yeah, they did really well. You know, the main thing whenever we go up there and we take those tests, we wanted to do something different this year. And we told the girls every conference game this year is going to be a battle, and we want you to be prepared for that. And so just facing against a different opponent that we didn't know much about, was going to just make sure that the girls were ready for adversity at any point. I thought we battled really well throughout the game. Just towards the end, I think we ran out of a little juice in the last 15 to 20 minutes, and that's whenever they got those 2 late goals. But yeah, I was proud of the performance and their willingness to compete.
And let's just talk about the goal there. Emmy Cook gets you a goal. She gets it off a free kick. Just talk about what you saw and how she was able to score there.
Yeah, similar to last week, you know, Emmy's definitely a set-piece specialist. She's got a great delivery from free kicks and corners, and anything within 35 yards, she's definitely going to be dangerous throughout this season. She strikes the ball so well with her technique, and she luckily caught it perfect on this one. The ball had a bit of movement on, and it just went past the keeper.
And obviously, that's the lone goal there. You were tied at half. You mentioned it. You gave up a couple of late goals there in the second half. That's how they were able to get the 3-1 win. Laura Dofer, your goalie, still had 8 saves. Talk about her performance through that one.
Yeah, we've been really proud of Laura the last few weeks. She's come on leaps and bounds since she got over here. She was very shy at the beginning when she first came, and now she's coming out of her shell a little bit, getting a little bit more confident. She's making good big saves for us when we need it as well, and starting to command her box a little bit more.
And so obviously, girls fall in that one 3-1. Guys also fall in that one. It was 2-1, a little bit closer there in that one. Just talk about how the guys performed.
Yeah, it was a strange one for the guys. The grass was really long, which was an odd thing to point out, but we got a scouting report on that previously. And when we went up there, you know, it was difficult to play. You couldn't really do too many passes on the ground. You had to do a lot more in the air, play a little bit more direct, which for us isn't quite our style, but we adjusted and we tried to compete. And I think St. Charles was just a better team at playing direct soccer. They won their first and second balls a little bit better than us, and they were prepared for that direct style more than we were.
And St. Charles scored 1 goal in the first half, 1 goal in the second half, and then your goal came kind of late. I believe it was about the 85th minute. Dylan Ngamalu scores for you on a deflection off a corner kick. It sounds like it was a little chaotic. Just talk about that goal.
Yeah, I think it just kind of bounced around off a corner, and luckily Dylan was there, swung out a left foot, and it creeped into the bottom corner, which gave us a chance to try and get back in the game. But credit to St. Charles, they were good on the defensive side on both sides of the ball, and so they shut us out there, and we couldn't get that second goal to equalise.
So obviously guys fall there 2-1, and we move on to Saturday. You stay up in the St. Louis area. You go about an hour south to, I believe, Farmington, where Mineral area is located. Girls bounce back. They get a big 4-1 win. Talk about how they performed that day.
Yeah, credit to the girls for that performance. I told them I was so proud of it. Considering that you got to play 2 games in 2 days is always a tough task, especially against 2 tough teams in the heat. The second game was on turf as well, which made it a little bit hotter. But I think they just all stepped up, and they were a little bit smarter with their decisions. In the second game, we told them to let the ball do the work a little bit, not do as much running, be a little bit more organised and composed on the defensive side instead of running around as much. And they implemented our game plan exactly how we wanted it, and come away with a good bonus win.
And if we're going to call this one anything, we'll call it the Charlie Cooper game part 2. We already had one where she factored into all the scoring opportunities. She did exactly the same here. First goal, she gets the assist on, but the goal scorer was Unity Catrayer. Just talk about her goal there.
Yeah, you know, like I said before, Charlie's such a smart player. She causes problems wherever she is on the field. She was drifting out wide to trying to find the little pockets of space and take players on 1v1, which is what she did for that goal. She got into the wide area, struck a ball across the keeper, and the keeper spilled it, and luckily Unity was there to follow up and tap it in for the first goal of the game.
So you get an early 1-0 lead. Mineral area ties it up in about the 32nd minute, but Charlie Cooper then makes herself known on the scoring column, gets her first goal of the match in the 38th minute to give you the lead there 2-1 with an assist from Elisa. Just talk about that goal.
Yeah, I think we've done a really good job of switching the ball in this game. We made the other team run a lot more, and whenever it give our wingers a lot more space to take players on 1v1, It was creating a lot more opportunities for us. I thought Avery and Lisa done a great job in the wide areas for us in terms of getting the ball down the line and getting the ball into the box. And then Charlie was drifting out into the wide areas as well to create those 2v1 opportunities. And I don't think Mineral Area could handle those 2v1s on the defensive side of the ball for them.
So you're up 2-1 at halftime, and then the second half is all Charlie. She gets 2 more goals, gets a hat trick for the day. I believe the first goal, basically in back-to-back minutes, first goal comes off a penalty kick. Second goal is her and Elisa again. Talk about both of those goals.
Yeah, it was actually quite nice to see because Charlie was obviously playing against some of her old teammates and friends from back home. Same with Emmy Cook as well, some of the English girls that knew each other. So I think they had a little bit more on the line there. But we just went a little bit more direct in the second half, got their defenders turned around, and they were struggling for a little bit of pace in behind, and we caused them problems with that. And I think, for the second and third goal, that's what really sealed the deal for us.
So the girls go 1-1 on the Missouri road trip. We'll move over to the guys' game. They didn't get to fare as well. Lost that one 2-0. Mineral Area scores 2 goals, or a goal in each half. Just talk about how the guys performed.
Yeah, a 2-0 loss doesn't really reflect the performance of the boys. I thought they battled really well throughout the game. It was 1-0 for a lot of the time. And really, we had spells and chances where we could have gone up and taken the lead. But, I told the boys during preseason, I said, at this level, you have to. The games are won and lost on fine margins, and you've got to make sure you take your chances when teams make the mistakes. We made a mistake for their first goal; they capitalised on it. They made 3 or 4 mistakes, which we just weren't clinical enough in front of goal. And then obviously they scored that second goal late in the second half, which kind of sealed the deal. But again, at 1-0, we had our chances to get back in the game and possibly even take the lead, and we just didn't do that.
And I think that the highlight performance from that match, just looking at the stats and everything, you look at your goalkeeper, Leo Summers. He faces 9 shots on goal, saved 7 of them. Just talk about the performance he had for that one.
Yeah, at 1-0, I think the momentum really swung. I think we had a lot of chances that, like I said, we could have got back in the game or taken the lead. Our defence and our goalkeeper done a really good job of making sure that we were staying shut out at 1-0. We just couldn't, unfortunately, get that goal on the other end to give us the momentum. And I think if we would have got that equaliser, we probably would have gone on to get a winner. But unfortunately, that's just sometimes the way it goes in soccer.
So unfortunately, the guys go 0-2 on the Missouri road trip. And now we'll scoot to yesterday's games. We say yesterday because originally we were supposed to play National Park College this upcoming Thursday. Fortunately, those games got canceled, but fortunately for us, we were able to schedule these games against the Warriors. The girls got to go see our former assistant coach and friend, Pat Ross, and unfortunately, East Central takes that one 3-1. Talk about how the girls performed in that one.
Yeah, I thought we started out really strong. The first 15, 20 minutes, we were real organised. Our pressing was good. We had a lot of chances. But similar to the boys last week, we just weren't clinical enough, taking chances and capitalising on their mistakes. And then I thought it evened out a little bit from there. They had a few chances off our mistakes. And I thought it was a real even game for the first half.
And East Central scores in the first half. They lead it 1-0 at halftime. Lisa actually scores your goal, ties it up at 1-1. Talk about the goal that she scored.
Yeah, it was a great ball in, and then obviously a rebound fell into Lisa, and she just on a little swivel hit it on a half turn and went into the bottom corner. I thought it was a great finish on a half turn for her to do that. Really pleased for her to get a goal because she's been working hard the last few games and not got much credit or reward for it, but she done really well in that game yesterday and got the reward.
And that was about at the 54th minute. You're tied there, and unfortunately, East Central gets 2 goals kind of late, and that's how they seal that 3-1 win. Again, you look at that and you look at the performance of Laura. She saw 12 shots on goal, saved 9 of them. But just talk about her performance.
Yeah, she made one really, really big save for us in the first half. I thought she was excellent. She made that one big save to keep us in the game. Second half, similar. She came up with some big saves to keep us in the game whenever it was 1-1 when we needed her to. And just like I mentioned before, she's just growing in confidence and she's getting better every game. And she's starting to command her area now, which is what we want. So hopefully as the season continues and we go into conference, she just keeps on developing and getting better and better.
And we'll switch over to the guys' game. The guys play to a draw. It's 2-2. But the Wolves, we jump out early on that one, and first goal there is scored by Holloway. Just talk about his goal.
Yeah, it was a great ball in from Alfie. Similar to Emmy, he's got a great delivery from set pieces, and he put it on a plate for Holloway to get his first goal. It was a great header, but I think it would have been harder to miss from that angle, with considering how good the ball was to get in there. But yeah, similar to Lisa, proud of Holloway for getting on the score sheet. He's been working tirelessly this preseason, so it's nice to see him get a reward for all his hard work.
And obviously that happens early within the first 10 minutes. It's actually about the 7th minute. You're up 1-0. You're feeling really good, and then you get a just a world-class, unbelievable goal from Ed at the 29th minute to make it 2-0. Talk about that shot.
Yeah, it was kind of ironic that he scored that goal. I was just talking to his dad the other day, telling him some things that he needs to work on, just saying he's got to get a little bit better with his striking the ball outside the 18. And then yesterday he proved me wrong. The ball fell to him from about 25 yards out. He took a touch, hit it on the half volley, and straight in off the top corner, which was an unbelievable strike. But that just sums up how good he is technically. He's really sound technically, and I think he's going to score a lot of those goals this season if he gets more opportunities.
I think everybody who was there at the facility, and myself included, watching that one, and you're just going, wow, that is a world class. You see professionals not be able to make that move, and for him to make it was just impressive to see in person. So you're up 2-0 at the half, feeling really good. Unfortunately, East Central comes out and they scored 2 quick goals within basically about the first 5 minutes of the second half. Despite that, you still battle. You keep it close. You keep it right there, tied 2-2. Unfortunately, you get a red card in the match, so you have to finish with a man down. Talk about the Herculean effort on the defensive side of the ball to keep it tied.
Yeah, we spoke to the boys after the game. We just got to be a little bit smarter of our game management. At 2-0, teams are always going to come out in the second half and come out flying with intensity. So we've just got to manage that a little bit better. We can't afford to make mistakes in the first minute or so to give a team confidence. That's where you've got to take the sting out of the game and make sure that we move the ball correctly, that they're chasing, and it kind of gets them a little frustrated with a 2-0 lead. That game could have been over and done with in the first 15 minutes of the second half. But credit to East Central, they came out and they got themselves back in the game, and they worked hard. And then obviously for some unforeseen circumstances, made us go down to 10 men. But the defensive effort on the boys was absolutely excellent. There was 3 or 4 goal line clearances, and we were fighting tooth and nail to try and keep that tie in the last 10 minutes. And I was proud of the boys on the defensive side to make sure that they kept it there.
Yeah, we highlighted Laura's performance, but we also want to highlight Leo's there, especially late in the game. He had 5 total saves. Just talk about how he was able to help keep that draw intact, especially late, making those great saves.
Yeah, his 5 saves, but 3 of those 5 saves were unbelievable 1v1 opportunities that really we should have been punished off, but he made himself big. He's a big lad, so he made sure he spread his frame as big as possible, and he came up strong for us with 3 1-on-1s, which are massive saves. And then obviously the defensive boys were kind of following up the rebounds and making sure they were throwing their body on the line as well to hold on for the last 5 minutes or so. So
you played a draw on that one, and that kind of wraps up all the action we've had since the last time we were here talking with each other. Next up is your conference opener. MACCC play will start, and you go on the road. You'll play Hines. You get 10 days off, a long stretch of off time, unfortunately. But just talk about what you know about Hines from the women's side first.
Yeah, on the women's side, they've improved drastically over the last few years. They're starting to compete now, and they're making it a lot more difficult for teams. They're not an easy team. Like I said before, every team in the conference is going to be difficult to face. They've brought in a lot of new faces as well that I think are going to help them this year. So we're excited for the matchup. But like I said to the girls after the last game, during this preseason, we've kind of faced all different adversity, and we wanted to play these tougher regular season games and preseason games to prepare us for these conference battles, which are going to be every single game.
And obviously on the guys' side, all the returners probably eyeing just a little bit of maybe some revenge, because Hines was the team that knocked them out last year, ended the season in the first round of the playoffs. But what do you know about the Hines guys team this year?
Yeah, they're doing really well so far. They've got some really good results to start off the season. They've got a new coach who's come in and I think helped with their style in terms of organisation. And so they're going to be a very, very difficult opponent. I think that's definitely going to be one of the teams that a lot of teams are underestimating this year. So it's a very tough match on the boys' side to get started, and now we've got 10 days to prepare for that.
And obviously, we're looking forward to those matchups, looking forward to the Wolves and Lady Wolves continuing their season. That'll wrap it up today for the Co-Lin Coaches Show. Any schedule changes or anything like that, tune in to Co-Lin Athletics on all of our social medias, also colinathletics.com, the website. Coming up this week, we'll have our first football game on Thursday. Wolves are hosting East Miss. We'll talk to head coach Glenn Davis next week. And then the Wolves and Lady Wolves will be on the road at Hines for their conference opener on the 15th of September. I'm Kevin Kaiser, Sports Information Coordinator for Co-Lin. Thanks for tuning in.